Judge's Corner is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com and GatheringMagic.com. Support our show by visiting both websites. Now it's time for Judge's Corner with David Green.
Welcome back to Judge's Corner. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about Soulbond. Soulbond is a keyworded mechanic from Avacyn Restored that reads, you may pair this creature with another unpaired creature when either enters the battlefield. They remain paired for as long as you control both of them. So that really doesn't cover everything about Soulbond. Soulbond is a triggered ability that triggers when either creature enters the battlefield. As long as they're unpaired, you can pair them together. When you pair them together, they're going to share the ability of the creature with Soulbond with one another. And a really cool interaction with that is if you have two creatures with Soulbond and you pair them both together, they're both sharing the abilities that they both have, such as a Wayfarer Silverheart and a Silverblade Paladin sharing double strike and +4/+4 with one another. So with that, let's take a look at an example and go from there. In this example, we have a Druid's Familiar on the battlefield, and we play an Avacyn's Pilgrim. When the Pilgrim comes into play, we can pair it with the Familiar or choose not to. Then, let's say we decided not to, and we play a Tandem Lookout. When the Tandem Lookout enters the battlefield, we can pair it with either of the two creatures upon resolution. But what happens if one of the creatures is killed before the Soulbond ability resolves? When this happens, we can still pair the Tandem Lookout with the other creature because Soulbond doesn't target. It only chooses a creature upon resolution. So now you have a good understanding of how things become paired, but how do things unpair with each other? Well, there are three ways. When we lose control of them, when they leave the battlefield, or when they stop being creatures. So let's take a look at each of those in our next examples. In our first example, we have a Wayfarer Silverheart paired with an Experiment 1. Our opponent plays Act of Treason and takes the Silverheart. When this happens, we lose the Soulbond with our Experiment 1, and our Experiment 1 drops in power and toughness. But it's worth mentioning that the Silverheart doesn't automatically pair with something on our opponent's battlefield because it didn't enter the battlefield, it just switched control. But if they play something else, they can pair something to it. Then, when we regain control of it, they'll lose any bonds they've made with it, and it'll come back to our side of the battlefield and ready to be paired again when we play another creature. In our next example, we have the same Wayfarer Silverheart and Experiment 1 paired together. Then, our opponent plays a Murder, killing the Experiment 1 because it doesn't have any +1/+1 counters on it and we can't regenerate it. When this happens, the Wayfarer Silverheart will lose the bond because the creature it was paired with is no longer in play. In this final example, we have an animated key rune and we cast the same Silverheart from our hand once more. When this happens, we can pair the two creatures together and then go to town battling with our key rune on our opponent or doing whatever we were going to do with it. When the turn ends, our key rune stops being a creature, and then the bond is broken, and the two creatures are no longer paired. So one last thing I want to cover is, let's say you play a Restoration Angel, and you blink a creature that's paired with another creature, and the creature leaves play and comes back into play. When this happens, you can decide to repair them together or not pair them at all. That's totally up to you. That's a question that comes up quite a bit, so I figured I'd answer it. If you have any other questions, make sure to send them to us at judgescorner@gatheringmagic.com, or leave a comment below, and until next time, shuffle thoroughly, play at a reasonable pace, and have fun.